In order to get us in the process of reframing, we first have to review our ABCs. Remember, our ABCs of CBT are our building blocks. So we've already had a little bit of practice with this, and we're going to deepen that. Remember, this is how people think that it works. They think something happens, and the thing that happens causes them to have a reaction. An adversity, which would be a negative event or a consequence, such as I get fired from my ideal job, causes a feeling or a behavior where a person might feel devastated or unable to function for weeks. The way that it actually works is that we have a belief, we have a thought about the situation that is affecting how we feel. So the belief, remember, is an interpretation, an attribution, meaning what am I attributing to the cause? What's my why? What is the attribution I'm making of the event? Or what are my expectations, such as a mom should do this for her daughter, or a daughter should do this for her mom. So going back to this example, I get fired from my ideal job, I feel devastated, and I'm unable to function for weeks. It's likely that the type of thoughts or beliefs I'm having are maybe I wasn't cut out for this job to begin with, or I'll never find a job like this again. If I have those kind of thoughts, it makes sense why I would feel what I'm feeling. Likewise, if I get fired from my ideal job, or someone else might get fired from their ideal job, they can feel a little sad, but overall okay. That would mean that something is different about their beliefs or their thoughts about the situation. They might be thinking, this sucks, but I'll find another job. This job helped me see that it's possible to do work I love and get paid for it. And if I'm thinking that and having those type of stories inside of my mind, it's likely that I'm going to feel a little sad, but then overall okay. Or if I had a thought that said, they had no right to fire me. I didn't do anything wrong. There are so many less competent people than I in this company. If that were the case, I would feel angry. I would feel angry that my rights were violated as it related to the situation. So remember that the difference is in the B's, and that we can have different B's or beliefs that affect how we feel in a given situation. We've talked about 4 different types of thoughts, and that the 2 in particular that are important for us to work with are judgment thoughts and future thoughts. Remember, judgment thoughts are our why beliefs, our beliefs about why something happened. This includes our interpretations. So this is how you explain to yourself what's happening, and attributions, how you explain to yourself why it's happening. So not just, both are how we interpret and explain the situation that's happening around us. And future thoughts are expectations, so what a person thinks will happen afterwards. Now, if I have a lot of judgment thoughts, that's most likely going to weigh me down, hold me down, maybe even go as extreme as making me feel depressed about the situation. If I have a lot of future thoughts over time accumulate to worry. If I don't keep them at bay, they accumulate to anxiety. And as we'll cover in another module, we know that a belief, is the thought you've repeated often, and that research on neuroplasticity shows us that when we repeat a thought again and again and again, it strengthens the connection between our thought patterns, something called long-term potentiation. The more stories that get created around that thought or that belief literally start to become neural networks inside of our brain, and that a thought is really just a set of neurons firing. But when we start to keep those stories going, or we don't interject and stop that normal thinking pattern, it just strengthens that thinking pattern, all of which is covered in a future module. A B is a thought you've repeated often. By accessing our thoughts and catching them and being mindful and catching what's going on in your mind, accessing your thoughts about a situation or an adversity, you can then access a person's belief system. So if I ask a person what popped into your mind in the heat of the moment, such as they might say, that's not fair, she always does this to me. That thought is cueing me to the belief system. So you can ask a person what thoughts were going through your mind when that happened, or what thoughts pop up for you as you recall this event. Anything that gets a person connected to what are their thoughts and how does that relate to their B's. So this is a review of the ABC model. Do you have any questions about the model? If so, type them inside of the chat box.